Turkey is geographically located on the historically earthquake-prone Anatolian Peninsula in the eastern Mediterranean sector of the Alpine Himalayan earthquake belt, which consists of 6 active tectonic belts, making earthquake Turkey's #1 hazard risk throughout the entire region. Additionally, seismic hazard maps indicate that 71% of the population live in the first and second degree seismic hazard zones, where approximately 131 damaging earthquakes have occurred over the past century. Because of Turkey's inherently high vulnerability to earthquake hazards, they are ranked the #1 hazard risk, accounting for 61% of all disasters impacting the country over the past century. Other hazards Turkey is prone to include landslides, rockfalls, floods, avalanches, and fires. Besides its geographic location, rapid urbanization during the 1950s has greatly increased Turkey's vulnerability to earthquakes. Between 1992 and 1999, 5 earthquakes occurred that illustrate the country's vulnerability to earthquakes, resulting in over 20,000 deaths. The 1999 Marmara earthquake was the most devastating of all earthquakes and claimed 16,000 deaths alone, due to the poor organizational approach to disaster management that was led by the central government during the first response activities concerning problems of coordination and communication between first responders. In regards to policy and planning, the 1999 Marmara earthquake is regarded as being the major turning point in Turkish disaster management for revealing the important issues of vulnerability to be corrected. In fact, almost all changes and improvements in disaster management in Turkey have taken place in a reactionary manner. In other words, disaster management in Turkey focuses on response efforts rather than preparedness and mitigation, reacting to disasters and making the necessary modifications during the post-disaster period. During a disaster which affects a single provincial territory, the local government triggers response and recovery actions following a bottom-up approach. If the disaster exceeds the territorial boundaries of a province, then the national government assumes authority of disaster management activities. Various actors participate in disaster management processes in Turkey, including government agencies, the military, non-governmental organizations, and international organizations. Governmental agencies are responsible for the disaster management planning, policy, and response actions, while NGOs and international organizations are more involved in prevention education and providing relief operations to assist disaster-impacted communities. A major NGO founded in 1868 is the Turkish Red Crescent Society, and it has provided disaster education, training, and relief measures nationwide. A potential obstacle existing for Turkey in achieving an effective disaster management is the adverse background conditions and political climate that contributes to neglecting international policies of disaster risk reduction, such as only focusing on disaster response measures rather than prevention and mitigation measures of disaster risk reduction principles. This observation was identified by the 2013 Global Assessment Report conducted by the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction and is regarded as a serious challenge to Turkey's disaster management, especially in regards to its sustainable development processes that are persistently set back by disastrous earthquakes.